I'm Heidi Love.
And I'm Joni Max.
And we are Soul Sisters Recovery Talk. Welcome to, you want to sing, don't you?
I do want to sing. I took a deep breath. And
Hey,
I'm ready.
sister.
Wait, hold on. Count of three. 1, 2, 3. Hey, sister, soul sisters, fill the empty hole, sisters.
I guess with the topic today, Joni, I wasn't going to sing because I'm feeling a bit sad.
Oh, no.
No,
You
we
need
always
to
gotta
replace
sing.
the sadness with singing.
With singing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Singing makes you feel good.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you have a good voice or not. I sing in the shower.
Matters to me. I think she has a very nice voice.
Thanks, Joni. So today we're going to talk about grief. And most people, when they think of grief, they think of losing someone, losing someone to death.
Right.
But we grieve all throughout our lives over any loss. And when we give up an addiction, when we let go of an addiction and we have recovery over any kind of addiction, we grieve. And we often start the grieving process before we actually let go of the addiction. And we'll talk a little bit about that today. So
it almost feels like a different kind of life. So I feel like giving up that type of living that I was doing.
yeah, so for you, it's like the whole lifestyle. Like
Right,
you're grieving
a
the
lifestyle.
lifestyle. Yeah.
Lifestyle of the rich and famous.
Yeah? Was
Yeah.
it the lifestyle of rich and famous? I never had that lifestyle.
Well, in my case, it's lifestyle of the not so rich and famous.
So I'm thinking of I want to share with you guys that when we have an addiction, it is a uneloquent way to meet a need. But what I want to share with you guys today is that I want you to discover what need is underneath that addiction. So often for me, the need that was underneath addiction was shutting my brain off, like slowing down. I have a very obsessive mind, so it was a way to just turn it off. So I had a need.
I second that emotion.
So a need to slow down the itty bitty shitty committee.
Slow down, you move too fast.
So that was one thing it met. Also the need for comfort, the need for, sometimes it was the conviviality and friendship and just ease of being around people. So like a social lubricant could be for that. It was definitely a way to check out. Oftentimes it was a way to suppress anger. What about you? Like, what are some of the needs your addictions have met?
Yeah,
Positive needs that you were getting met.
What just really struck me, obviously, for so many people, when you're feeling bad or even happy, it's just so easy to want to cover up the feeling and or celebrate.
So a need to celebrate.
Yeah, and or just covering up the sadness, and then doing it often enough, it just becomes a habit.
Yeah.
And then you forget, and then I forgot what I was even sad about, because then the habit started to take over. Habit/addiction.
Yeah.
Right, and then that became the reality, the new lifestyle.
The new lifestyle. So also it was a need for lifestyle. So, if we're just thinking about needs, it was what was great about that lifestyle, the positive things, like the need you were getting met. Was it the excitement? Was it fun? Like what were the needs that were getting met by that exciting lifestyle?
Well, I mean, a little bit of excitement, sometimes just needing to relax and forget about the obsessive. I am also one of those people that tends to obsess. Yeah. And so that would actually slow that obsessiveness down. Yeah. But then, of course, then I could never work it through.
Yeah. So right now, grab a pen and paper, and if you don't have one, that's okay. But think about when you've been in an addiction, what need did it meet that was positive? Like, were you able to have comfort? Did you get to check out? Did you get to relax? Did it help you be with people? Did you have some fun, some excitement? Like, what were the positive payoffs of doing your addiction? Because every single thing we do in life is to meet a need. We're doing it unconsciously or consciously, and addictions meet needs. And they are a very uneloquent strategy to do so because they give us a negative payoff. You know, they give us a lot of positive things and then they quit working one day, or they start to have more negative effects than positive effects. And that's why we have to give up our addictions, because it ends up being way more harmful than good. But we were searching for something. And one of the things that many people search through unconsciously, usually for addiction, is intimacy. Because they're feeling this empty hole, or they have a longing to really connect with someone, and maybe they have no one to connect with, or maybe the people that are in their lives are unable to connect for whatever reason, or they're unable to connect with the people that are available.
There's fear there. A lot of people are scared. And so in order to quell the fear, they drink to cover it up.
Yeah, so I think the fear is a great thing. I'm glad you brought that up, because fear and grief are two things that really keep us from intimacy. And
anger.
And anger, yeah.
Well, because fear, that's the other side of...
Yeah, anger is usually above fear. Like fear is usually what's underneath. Yeah, and we
it,
show that we're angry, but we're really afraid. And so fear and... grief keep us from really showing up in intimacy, and connection is the opposite of addiction. So if we're unable to truly deeply connect, we're going to continue to have that longing to connect with something. And for many of us, our addiction has been our best friend. It's been reliable. We can trust it. It's always there. It doesn't talk back. I mean, there's a lot of things.
It talks back in the morning sometimes. Isn't that what they call a hangover?
Hangover.
Yeah.
Yeah, it talks really back a lot if you're really listening. But when you're in it, you're kind of in denial about that.
Right.
So we're going to talk about the 5 stages of grief just briefly. And so as you're looking to give up an addiction, or as you've given one up newly, you'll often go through this process. And the first one is denial. So how many of you have been in denial that you need to give up an addiction? Queen of denial.
All right.
The second step is bargaining. This is where I lived the longest, because I think I'm smart, that I can figure things out. And so I bargain, like, well, if I do this, if I only drink in the evening, if I only drank on vacation, if I only had dessert once a week, if I only smoked e-cigarettes and not real cigarettes. Like, I mean, bargaining until what?
Until doomsday,
until
pretty much.
So that's number 2.
Until you get the hangover.
Yeah, until you get the hangover long enough that you're like, I'm not doing this anymore. I can't do this anymore. So number 3 is anger. So you get really angry. You're pissed that your addiction's not working for you anymore, or you're pissed that you have to give it up. I spent a lot of time being angry. Angry that I had to give up the lifestyle in the beginning, because I had the lifestyle with my brothers and making beer and going to happy hour and camping, and everything was around drinking. And then I've been far removed from that for a long time, but I got angry, like, okay, I gave that up. I'm super happy, don't care about drinking, but now I have to deal with food addiction. Like, really, God, I have to have another addiction. And I was pissed. I was pissed that I had something else to deal with, as if alcoholism wasn't enough.
Right. And then there's codependency. Yeah, that's a really good one.
Yeah. Does that make you angry?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the codependency triangle.
So I'm wondering now, just as a kind of a jackass joke, that when we give up our codependency, I wonder if we don't grieve it.
Oh.
I don't know. Yeah. Like, I grieved my other addictions, but giving up codependency might just be a really big effing relief.
Yeah, that would be a relief.
Yeah.
But I've been working on it lately, and I'm quite angry, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Well, because I'm shaking things up, and so I'm feeling agitated.
Yeah.
But that's a process of shaking things up and trying to move things, and
I think that
being conscious of the different feelings. And
I think, aside from the joking, of course we grieve codependency because we have these relationships in place, and when we give up codependency, we do lose something. We lose the payoff that we're getting from the codependency. And so I think you are in the grieving process of codependency and in the anger. So that's number 3. We have number 4, which is depression, and we have number 5, which is acceptance. So this is not a linear process, the 5 stages of grief, and if you want to know about it, we can go a lot deeper. Just private message me. Comment below what addictions you've grieved from. And I want to tell you that when you're grieving, you don't always know it. And it's really nice to know when you're grieving something, because you think. That's part of the bargaining and part of the denial that comes up in grief, is like, if I feel this awful giving a person up or a substance up or this experience or this lifestyle up, it must be wrong. And it tempts you to go right back into it. And it's like a trap and a vicious cycle, right? But when we're able to really move into the grief and go, okay, I'm having a loss. It doesn't mean I'm losing something that's fantastic for me, but I am losing something. And so I'm going to go through anger, and I'm going to go through depression, and I'm going to go through bargaining and denial, and then move into sweet acceptance. And the amazing thing is, when you're in acceptance, you can open your life up to something totally new and find new ways to meet those very beautiful needs that were met so uneloquently with addiction. So I'm wondering if you have anything else to say. That's all I have to say on that topic for today.
Well, I do love everything that you just said, and of course I agree, and I definitely made some I do try to do some of the things that make me feel really good, like I swam a mile today, and then I get this wonderful sort of high feeling, and it's relaxing from the endorphins, so I can actually create. It's a way for me to create a brain change without using a substance.
Yeah.
And of course the chlorine in the pool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So well,
I drank some of that, and that was
she's
kind of
good
cool.
on chlorine.
That was
She's a
kind
lot
of
more
cool.
clearer. She
Yeah.
talks clear,
I like
sings
that.
clear.
Yeah, I kind of rub it on my teeth a little. Real nice.
So yeah, looking at those needs that we aren't meeting with the addiction, and then how do we meet them positively? And Joni just mentioned, like, creating those endorphins, swimming, going to, join a recovery group, talk to friends, creating a whole new network of people and a new lifestyle. We have to replace it. If you have a big hole and you're filling it with something, you need to fill it with something else. So what is the most eloquent way? And when I say eloquent, I mean that the payoff is amazing rather than hurting you, like addiction does. So finding those things that you like and changing it a little bit, one day at a time. One day at a time. All right. We'll be seeing you soon. Tune in, comment below, let us know what you want to hear about. We're happy to talk about it with you. Bye.
Hey, soul sister.
Yeah.
Hey, sister, soul sister, fill the empty hole, sister.